take my words, my image, my ideas, and twist them to feed your fear and inflate your ego, if you profit off of my name while calling me a liar, then be prepared to stand behind your accusations.
Jokes with a real and in my real face on real camera. Understand I'm...
Because here's the whole thing. You gonna charge me with child endangerment? After I adopted 7 children and had them for 14 years in this state? Really? You coming after my kids now? Because it was already a witch hunt. Now you want my babies?
It's Katt Williams that taught me how to be Jaguar, right? And he picked up the phone, and it was the fucking CEO of fucking Comedy Central. And I listened to him threaten to kill him. He said, I'm not doing this. And then that's when all the incidents started.
So Terrence Howard has been discussing Katt Williams, and he is claiming that Katt's existence could realistically be in jeopardy. And this is not merely gossip or conflict anymore. Terrence states both himself and Katt have been aimed at numerous times. Terrence also suggested that a portion of the motive he portrays himself the manner he does, frequently blending shocking remarks with reality, is actually a method to remain protected while yet voicing opinions. It is essentially a tactic for endurance in the environment where informants get eliminated frequently. But it becomes even more grave. Katt Williams has produced comparable assertions and stated that immediately when he commenced naming specific influential individuals in the business, warnings were issued against him and they even attempted to target his offspring. So the major inquiry currently is Katt truly in jeopardy once more currently that the Epstein documents are released and Katt commenced addressing some delicate topics? And precisely who is attempting to mute him?
The conversation was to show that there are spiritual things going on in the world and that there are things that are bigger than just coincidence.
So Terrence Howard recently issued a communication for Katt Williams and every other person who has been categorized as insane, intimidated, or suppressed for articulating distressing realities regarding those in authority. And Terrence is essentially stating that individuals such as Katt who perceive designs and observe matters others do not possess an obligation to vocalize and caution others. And if that renders particular individuals irate, well, there is typically a motive for that.
Follow evidence over assumption, observation over expectation. You see, our world is full of many voices telling us what to think. But our greatest strength that we could ever develop is our ability to examine things with our own eyes, our own logic, our own God-given courage. This is not rebellion. This is responsibility. It is how science moves forward. It is how history is corrected. It is how we evolve as a species. You see, this is the path of those who seek the truth. Not to destroy anything, but to understand it honestly. Because there's no growth without questioning. There's no wisdom without evidence. There's no freedom without clarity. To every seeker out there that is potentially absorbing any of this, we don't have to inherit the world as it was given to us. We have the right and the responsibility to examine it for ourselves. You see, the truth does not fear being questioned. Only fragile ideas.
And this is precisely what Katt Williams has declared, as well. Essentially, if an individual becomes annoyed by what he is discussing, it typically signifies he touched a nerve, and there is a motive it renders them uneasy.
That's why I can speak with impunity about the Illuminati, because I know who you would have to be in order for what I'm saying to bother.
But here is the point where it becomes more sinister. Lately, accounts have emerged stating Katt's existence was purportedly endangered after he commenced discussing matters that formerly were discarded as plot hypotheses. However, currently with the distribution of the Epstein documents, a great deal of what he uttered actually appears to coordinate. Certain origins are even indicating Katt's consultation with Joe Rogan, where he discussed what the superiors supposedly revere and the claimed backstage ceremonies.
You don't care how people feel about the ritual. It's about does following the ritual work. And so you can fool yourself into thinking there isn't one, but the evidence, I understood that the earliest I had seen that word transgender was Baphomet, the transgender. And so I knew that in the ritual of Baphomet, the transgender, to show allegiance to him, you had to kiss his ass ring.
Really?
And it said both of those things. So I knew that both of those things would become popular in the future. And that somehow calling people the GOAT would be normalized.
Currently, many individuals were hasty to reject Katt as a plot hypothesizer when he uttered these matters. However, advance to the present, and a great deal of what he was declaring is actually appearing within the Epstein documents. Certain messages are upsetting and truly difficult to peruse, yet they cite the identical matters Katt was discussing. One message even demonstrates Epstein conferring with biologist Robert Trivers regarding concepts about generating more feminine males and more masculine females. And this portion is not conjecture anymore. It is recorded. So this researcher, Robert Trivers, was replying to Epstein's message where Epstein requested to view his segment on transgender biology. And Trivers replied stating it is feasible to handle and regulate matters on a molecular scale to cause females to possess male components and the reverse. But it then becomes truly unsettling, and Trivers literally confesses that these protocols are being promoted sooner and sooner. This is a straight citation from the message. Incidentally, we are currently promoting the involvement sooner. So, you observe your 3-year-old male child possesses trans inclinations, so now you involve hormones. I would be alarmed to perform that, but who understands? And how bizarre is it that this is precisely what individuals such as Katt Williams and Terrence Howard have been alerting about for lengthy periods. But it does not cease there. Recall what Katt stated in that Joe Rogan consultation regarding particular ceremonies linked to all this and even suggested that these superiors revere a completely distinct sort of deity? Well, the Epstein messages seem to support that.
Jeffrey Epstein, his bank accounts.
What is
he
a
named
bank?
it Baal, like the demon.
Oh, Baal.
Like the demonic
like
god.
Baal,
that,
that's yeah.
That god. Ancient Babylonians, they used to sacrifice kids and eat to this god thing. And they're still referencing that.
My goodness.
And they've been referencing that.
Yeah, everywhere.
I hear God is good. Huh? God is good.
Do you think you're the devil himself?
No, but I do have a good mirror.
And when we discuss the Epstein documents, it is crucial to observe that Katt did not merely commence speaking regarding this lately. He has been uttering these matters openly well before they reached general public awareness. Essentially, Katt highlighted what the majority of individuals are excessively terrified to state. Epstein did not simply chance to be surrounding all these multibillionaires. He was positioned there. That category of entry does not occur by chance. And Epstein was promoted for a motive.
One world people exist because it's a very powerful concept to have and far too lucrative and beneficial to not be attempted.
Yeah, I mean, if I was going to run some global power organization, I would try to co-opt every single leader, try to suck them in, offer support, bring them out to wherever the fuck I have my big-ass meetings, fly everybody in private jets, talk about the climate crisis.
All organizations have to follow the same rules.
Yeah, that's wild.
Recruitment is an important facet of all.
We have to get some young global leaders.
Well, understand, this is the only reason that we can talk about these big Illuminati-like entities at this period of time. It's just because of time. Like, they aged out. Like, you can't get in new, so everybody got decrepit over there, and they can't exchange, really, through this period of history. And so that's how we ended up with the Bob Lazars and everything. Throughout history, you could really, it was much easier to get people to not tell nobody.
Right.
As part of your job. You know what I mean?
Imagine going to a World Economic Forum party. What did those freaks do when all the listening devices have been scanned out of the room? All their phones been put into bags and locked away in a lead vault? What do those freaks do? Because you know it's not normal shit. You know everybody's buttoned down like that and wants to control the world. There's something involved that's outlandish that they keep a secret. That's always been the case with secret societies. I mean, that's the whole Eyes Wide Shut thing. That there's some freak shit going on behind the scenes to anybody that really wants to control everything. You don't just want to control everything. You want to control everything so you can get away with some freak shit, too.
Right, I'm saying, but these Epstein-like characters have existed throughout history. Whether they were kings or what, human beings are human beings universally. So everybody is a supplier. Epstein, Weinstein, like these guys knew what these extremists like.
So, here is the major inquiry. If Katt is discussing matters the general press will not address, such as Epstein's evident link to transgender investigations or the purported reverence of antique deities, is he genuinely protected? We understand efforts have been produced to suppress him previously, but currently he is entering truly shadowy regions that these superiors do not desire anyone understanding excessively much regarding. Recall, Katt formally stated he ceased discussing the Illuminati for a period because he was wounded one too many occasions. And at the moment, he did not even completely perceive the category of jeopardy he was encountering.
Some of us are against the Illuminati, and we are against the Illuminati at our own detriment. When people are against the Illuminati, then they get punched in the face all the time. The press hates them, and nobody likes them. But now, it's not necessary for us to stir up that hornet's nest unless we intend to get stung 1,000,000 times. I didn't understand that. They had to sting me 1,000,000 times. I'm still not going to join, but I respect.
Actually, back then, nobody truly viewed Katt with any seriousness. People simply disregarded him and claimed he was attributing everything to the Illuminati. However, as the years progressed, the circumstances surrounding him became far too peculiar to overlook. There were numerous arbitrary detentions and attempts to incarcerate him or even have him committed to a mental institution. Consequently, eventually, supporters began to contemplate that perhaps Katt was not embellishing at all. Even after Katt achieved massive success in his profession, the strange occurrences did not cease. One of the earliest took place back in 2009 in a Walmart parking area in Georgia when officers confiscated his firearms but did not indict him with anything. That is the type of evidence that causes you to begin interrogating what is truly occurring behind the scenes. Katt subsequently discussed the event with Vibe magazine and remarked, "This is a witch hunt. It is reaching the stage where I feel as though I am being victimized because this does not make any sense." But the event that truly startled him occurred in December 2012 when Katt was blamed for putting his offspring in peril after officers discovered weapons and narcotics in his residence. Once more, the indictments were rapidly dismissed because there was no proof. However, Katt has remarked the entire situation felt like merely another frame-up intended to destroy him.
Yeah, I'm saying, if the police come in and raid my place and break into my gun boxes, you're gonna find guns, but these aren't. Well, I'm not in a gang. What difference does it make?
Now, you were actually stopped for this and let go because you have a license for it,
No,
right?
This is their 9th time coming to my house. The problem was this time they came to my office and took my kids from an office. Not from my house, from an office. So now when I can't have my kids at my office,
that's an issue.
I must be
the
most terrible black dude. Because here's the whole thing. You gonna charge me with child endangerment? After I adopted 7 children and had them for 14 years in this state? Really? You coming after my kids now? Because it was already a witch hunt. Now you want my babies? Yikes. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X ended up dead for telling the truth. So as a comedian, I don't think it won't happen to me. I think they've thrown me in jail 36 times in 36 months, and I think you've never seen me in a court of law. That means they're effing with me. And today, they crossed the line. Because now they took my baby.
Subsequently, in 2014, Katt and Suge Knight were detained together regarding a claimed occurrence with a photographer's camera. The press instantly distorted the account, making it appear as though they simply lost control on some arbitrary photographer. However, Katt later clarified the circumstance was significantly more profound than that. The paparazzi were actually attempting to incite them, and one of them even targeted Suge's child.
This is in Beverly Hills. Suge has brought his son with him who's 5 years old. Suge's son runs behind the dumpster and urinates. And a lady films his penis out and then says, "Oh, I thought that was Katt's kid." That lady said that she got jumped on by me. Yeah. Like, this isn't just my word. They had to play the video in court, which showed that her altercation wasn't with a man at all.
Yeah, they don't add that piece.
No, nor do they make a retraction. Right. Nor do they say, "Hey, that thing we told you about that guy, turns out it was nothing." I got 15 cases that were dismissed. That should be talked about. Why would 15 cases be dismissed?
And while Katt was managing all those detentions and fabricated indictments, the gossip columns were occupied depicting him as an unruly substance abuser. But here is the bizarre portion. Even with all these business guardians attempting to destroy him, Katt somehow contrived to evade every snare. Throughout the years, none of his detentions ever resulted in a serious criminal judgment, and he has never actually completed any penitentiary duration. Nevertheless, currently that Katt has commenced discussing some truly grave subjects, informants are remarking he could realistically be in peril. There are numerous influential individuals who would not desire him vocalizing, particularly now that he is attracting notice to segments of the Epstein documents that general press is neglecting. So, let us merely hope Katt and Terrence remain secure and guarded, because at this stage, you truly cannot dismiss anything regarding these superiors. And currently, I desire to receive input from you. Katt anticipated many of the matters that are appearing within the Epstein documents. So, do you assume he could genuinely be in jeopardy now that the dialogue has transitioned to significantly more somber subjects? Submit your reflections in the remarks, and do not overlook investigating the upcoming video.